Hello and welcome to my channel On the Hook Crochet, where we talk about wearable crochet style. And let's see what's been on the hook. Well, obviously this has been on the hook. This is my Snood and Cowl, my Pamela cowl that everybody had asked me about. I made it from the Shiraz in the City URU yarn by Knit Crate that came in my last Knit Crate box. And it is 82% merino wool, 18% Peruvian Pima cotton, super bulky, which is a size 6 weight yarn, and 109 yards on the hank. I had 2 hanks of this, and I had quite a bit left, maybe 10 yards or so, maybe 15, probably 15 yards or so of that left. And it's a very nice warm hat. Now this is called a snood. I don't know if y'all have ever heard of a snood, but a snood is a style of hat that women have worn in the past, and some women still wear them. They keep your head very warm and they don't mash your hair down. It's not a beanie. It is a band that goes all the way around the garment, or the accessory, I guess you could call it. And it has a large back on it. I don't know if you can see that. I'll let one of my models wear this in just a minute and we'll take a close-up look at it. But it does hang down quite a bit in the back. Now you can also shorten this to a slouchy. It's a cute pattern for slouchy, very easy to make. And with a 6 bulky, you can make one in an evening or less. It's just very quick. And then the cowl matches it, the stitch pattern matches, and the of course I made it out of the same yarn. So it's a matching set. It's very warm. You can wear the cowl up under your snood and you'll have extra warmth there. If it's very windy, your hair won't be blowing around and you won't have to wear a beanie. Beanies are not my thing. I think beanies are great for kids and for men, but I'm not real excited about wearing one of my own. I just don't have the face for it. So I thought I would make something with a little bit more volume in it, and that's what this is. It's called a snood, and I will put the word right down here for you so you can see it. It's a fashion that women used to wear, and some still do. So I wanted to show that to you and offer the pattern. It's on my Etsy shop. There's a picture of it. It's called the Pamela Cowl and Snood, and it'll be out in the Etsy shop probably this afternoon. I'll send an email out with a discount, and if you're in the community, you will get the email and the discount if you want to order it. It's not going to be very expensive at all, and you can make one up, make for gifts. I plan to make a couple sets of these for gifts, and I believe the girls that I'm making them for are adventurous enough to wear a snood, so I'm going to go ahead and make those. I've ordered some bulky yarn from Mary Maxim, of all places. I've had a subscriber tell me that Mary Maxim made a yarn very similar to the one I used to make my hug in a shawl that I showed in my last video with the Cassetta Laws pattern, and I'll put a link to that again in the description box if you'd like to make it. It's very, very beautiful. I really like it, and my inclination would be to make another one even larger. Now that one was more of a shawlette, and I showed that on my video, but it's designed to wear a little bit larger than that, so you could certainly make it either way and just put fewer rows on the initial fabric and you'll have it made. So that's just a suggestion from me, but I ordered some yarns and they should be here in the next few days. Hopefully they will get here, and I'm going to do some yarn reviews coming up too as well. I've had several requests for yarn reviews, and some people have actually named the yarns, and I went out and ordered those. One was the rag, R-A-G-G, rag yarn from Mary Maxim, and I did order that, and I'm going to take a look at it and maybe make a garment from it and see how it crochets up. So I'm trying to do some things that y'all have asked me to do, and I'm glad to do that. Now, my gift to you was the Hug Me shawl that I sent out last week, and I hope that you received it. If you're in the community, you would have gotten an email with this link for this pattern. It's a free pattern. You just go out and click the link, and you can print it off and use it. This is the Hug Me cowl. It's shaped a little bit at the bottom. If you'll see that, it's a little wider at the bottom. It's not a stovepipe shape. It is more of a pyramid shape. It comes down over your shoulders a little bit, and it fits a little bit better. Now, on a small stitch cowl like this, it is important that it fits you, and that's why I made the bottom of it a little bit wider, so you can experiment with that, see what you think. I made this from Huga yarn by Red Heart, I believe it's Huga yarn, and it's very, very soft, and these are perfect for Christmas gifts. So I'm trying to give you some ideas for Christmas gifts and for crochet. So let me go to my next segment. I'm going to take this hat off because it's a little bit hot, but I'm going to put it on one of my models and let her show it to you up close. Hey, I'm back. I took my Pamela cowl and my Pamela snood off, and I'm going to let Ruby model the snood because it's a little bit easier to see up close. So I'm going to let her model this. Now this is what it looks like. This is Ruby, by the way. She is one of my head models, and she was interested in getting on the show today. So I said, okay, sure, I'll let you model my snood, and we can get an up close and personal look at it. Isn't she beautiful? She's just beautiful. All right, so this is what the snood looks like in the back, and it is quite long. If you can see, her neck is way up there. So it's a very long hat. If you can see from the side, there she is. You can see it from the side. It's very, very warm. You'd be surprised how warm it is. In this particular yarn, which I did not like when I first received it, never liked it. I just was shocked when I opened the package, and so was Mr. On the Hook. But he likes it now. He says he really likes the color, and it's a flattering color on most people, honestly. It's just very neutral, and I made it in a drapey fabric, so with a large hook, and I used the hook that I opened my program with, the PQ hook, which is a 15mm hook. So this is what hook I used with this particular yarn, and it turned out very, very nice. I like the way it hangs. It's very drapey, and so does the cowl. Thank you, Ruby. So I just wanted to show that to you, bring that to you, and I'll be releasing the pattern pretty soon, probably this afternoon. So be looking for that email that will have your discount in it. Now on to some fun chit chat. This is going to be a video with just a lot of different things in it. Ideas, things that I've bought, something that I found. It's a blast from the past, so stay tuned for that. This is a crochet t-shirt that I bought from Crochet Surprise. They had these on sale, and I thought I would buy one that says Live, Love, Crochet. And I will probably take this down in my sewing room and cut it off. It's way too long for me. But I thought I would wear this every now and then just to remind everybody that crochet is a wonderful, wonderful craft. I really like crochet. It's my favorite. I am trying to learn to knit, and I haven't given up on that, but crocheting is just one of my favorite things to do, and I do it every single day if I can. So that t-shirt says it all. Another thing I wanted to show you today was a book that I received in the mail, and I ordered it March 15, a long time ago, and the author is Hannah Thyssen. She used to be the creative director for Knit Crate, and she left to go write a book, and I can appreciate that. I would love to write a book, but it's a huge project, and you have to pretty much put your life on hold if you're going to get the book out in time. But this is called Seasonal Slow Knitting, and I thought that was such a neat name for a book, and the photography is absolutely gorgeous. There's a lot of photographs of yarn, and she talks in here about, and there are a lot of patterns in here too, by the way. She's put several patterns of her own in here. She also shows you how to darn a sock. She talks about just a lifestyle of slowing down a little bit, enjoying her knitting as we can enjoy our crochet. It's the same thing. And the book is structured in 4 different parts. It's 4 different seasons, and that's why it's called Seasonal Slow Knitting. There's spring, summer, fall, and winter, and the things that she does during those particular seasons and how she relates it to her knitting. A very beautiful book. And here's a picture of Hannah right there. There she is. Y'all might recognize her from the Knit Crate YouTubes that were out last year. But she's been a busy bee and writing her book, and it is wonderful. Like I said, the photography in here is worth the price of the book. And I think the book ended up being $22. I originally ordered it for $29, and when it was published, it had dropped a little bit. The price had dropped, so they only charged me $22 for this, but it's well worth it. I haven't read every word in here, but I have leafed through it, and I really like it. For those of you who knit, it would be an excellent book. And those of you who crochet can maybe understand the knitting mind, and I'm understanding it a little better now. This would be a nice gift if your husband's looking for a gift to buy you for Christmas. This might be a good suggestion. You can just give him the link on Amazon and make it easy for him. Anyway, I already bought this, so Mr. On the Hook can't buy it for me for Christmas. But I just wanted to bring this to you, share it with you a little bit, and let you know that it's out there. And it's written by somebody that is contemporary, and she's young. I think she has a lot of really good ideas, and I've enjoyed leafing through her book. I received some happy mail this week. So glad to get it. This is from Gail Williams. And Gail, I hope you don't mind me saying your name. She is from Pennsylvania. And Gail said that she has been watching my show for a while, and I appreciate that, Gail. And she said that buying regular knitting needles might help me learn to knit. And she's probably right. I mean, I opened the package, and she had sent me 2 knitting needles from made by Loops and Threads. These are a size 10.5 or 6.5 millimeter knitting needles, and they look like a good size knitting needle. I can grab those and maybe learn to knit with these, but she suggested I try these instead of using the short knitting needles that I'd bought from Chigoo. She said it might be easier for me to learn on longer knitting needles, so I'm going to give that a shot. And thank you, Gail, for sending that. Very sweet of you to do that. I appreciate it. And then I had a thank you note from Brenda Estes, who had one of my giveaways, so she sent me a nice thank you note. Thank you, Brenda. Appreciate those 2 pieces of happy mail that I received this week. Okay, on to some whips, and I want to talk about this whip that I've been working on for what seems to be a very long time. But honestly, I've made some great progress on it. So this is the striped wool sweater that I'm making. It's a short sleeve sweater. It's elbow, maybe a little above the elbow for the sleeve length, and it's built into the fabric like I like to do, especially with stripes. It's so much easier to just do it this way and let it fall as your arm there. It always matches up very nice if you go ahead and crochet it into the fabric. This is the neckline that I have decided on. It's like an open V, and I will put a band around here as well. But the sweater looks like this on. I think it's going to be really nice. It's made out of a DK wool, and if you'll notice the neckline, I have a lot of decreases in there, but I've marked every single one. Can you see that? I always tell you to do that in my patterns, because then you can match it up with the other side. So I marked all these as well, so they all match up, and then I'll have to make the back, which should be much easier. On this pattern, I'm also going to explain how to shape your sweater, and on the side of the sweater, I have decreased in the waist section so that there's a little bit of shape to the sweater. It's not going to be tight. I've made it plenty big, but it's going to cut in just a little bit there so that it looks a little bit more fitted. And I'm going to show y'all how to do that in the pattern and how you can adjust it for your body size and shape. There's no set way to do that. I just explain how to measure yourself, how to find that sweet spot where you want it to cut in just a little bit, and then how you're going to decrease and increase to cause that sweater to just pull in just a tiny bit at the waist to give you a little bit more shape instead of just being a square. And there's nothing wrong with a square sweater. I've made a lot of those, but I wanted to do this for people who might want their sweater to be a little bit more fitted on the sides. So that'll come out in the next couple 3 weeks. I'll have this pattern out for you so that you can use that same technique on any of my sweaters. You don't have to just use it on this one, but I'm going to explain how to do it, and then you can apply it to any sweater that you crochet. Many of you will remember that I showed a sweater that I made a long time ago when I was about 10 or 11, 10 I guess I was about 10. And this is the sweater that I made. It's made from granny squares, and I explained all about it. And I'll put a link to the video at the end of this one because I'd like you to see that. It's a lot more detailed than what I'm going to explain today. But I was on the web. I was just messing around on Etsy, but I happened upon this website of patterns from the past. And I'll put a link to it down in the description box so you can look at this pattern yourself. But I found this pattern, and I never thought that I would. I knew that it was about 1960 or so that it was published, and I looked for it for a little while and then I gave up. But I just happened upon it yesterday, and actually I found another cardigan that looked very similar to this, and I thought that was it. And then along the bottom, you know how on Etsy it'll show you similar patterns or similar items that you can buy or look at, and I saw this picture and I thought, that is the pattern. It's called Out of the Blue Jacket, and it was published in 1960. And it came from a crochet magazine, which my mother always loved crochet magazines. She would always buy one at the store if we were at a fabric shop or at the dime store where we bought fabric a lot of times. She would pick up a crochet magazine and she would pore over the magazine, and that is where she found this pattern. And I'm going to show you a picture of it. Look at this. This is the pattern for Out of the Blue Jacket. And I made this exactly by the pattern. I've looked at the pattern and I've counted the granny squares and everything is exactly matched up. So I made it right by the pattern. Now, if you can believe this, this is the entire pattern right here. This is it, one page. And it's done in very abbreviated style. So there are so many abbreviations in here. I had to think really hard about what they were doing here, but even down to the cuff on the sweater, which is a straight granny stitch all the way around the cuff, several inches of it, and it's exactly like the picture. If you'll notice, her cuff is exactly like that. So I knew I had the right pattern, but I looked on the back and it says, this is continued from the front of the magazine, and this says page 54. That must have been a huge crochet magazine. But back in the day, I mean, we didn't have the internet or anything, so this is how we found patterns to do crochet with. And I followed many a pattern like that. It was just one page, and you just had to kind of figure it out. As you know, as a contrast, my patterns are 10, 15, 16, 18 pages long because I try to explain everything to you in the pattern, and it's not all abbreviations. I do use some, but it's not all abbreviations. But I wanted to show you this because even the connectors on the front are the same exactly as the pattern. It was made exactly by the pattern, and it says it's a size 12. One size fits 12 to 16. So this is about a 12 or 14 nowadays. I don't think it would fit a 16, but I wanted to show that to you because when I found this pattern, I couldn't believe it. It was made in the same exact colors too. Apparently the blue is the exact color as it calls for on here. It says it says royal blue, and then a list of all these colors. And I don't know if she bought those or if she just had them in her stash. But she bought all those for me. This pattern actually calls for a steel crochet hook number 00, which I think is pretty small. As I look at the stitches on here, they are very, very small, probably smaller than I would want to do now. But it's made with a steel crochet hook 00. So those of you who know what those look like, I don't believe that's very big. And I don't really remember crocheting with that particular hook, but I'm sure it was the one that it was called for because everything on this jacket is exactly as the pattern states. So I just thought y'all might enjoy seeing that. This is my blast from the past. Now, last but not least, I want to remind you to go out to my last video and sign up for Crochet World. This has lots of great patterns in it, just like the one that my mom found for me to make that jacket. And I'm also going to include the inspirations book from March 2020 for Knit Crate. I have 2 of these, and I thought I'm just going to give that away to the person who wins the Crochet World magazine. So I'm going to give that away. That's been paid for, so I'm giving that away, not sponsored. So be sure to go out and put a comment in the description box. Be sure you put the keyword in your comment so that you'll be in the running for the giveaway. So I'm going to leave that there. I just wanted to bring you a few things here, show you about my new pattern that'll be coming out. And I thank you for all your thank yous for the Hug Me Cowl. I really love to give away things, and I thought a pattern for a good Christmas gift or just for yourself to wear under your coat in the wintertime might be fun. So thank you for all your thank yous. I didn't answer all your emails, because I had so many. I just couldn't answer them all. But thank you for all your thank yous. It was my pleasure. And I'd like to do that again very, very soon. So I'll be thinking about that, what I can send out to everybody that might be something most people could make. I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and join me on Monday when we find out what's on the hook.